Today's standard is to query records and create reports. The objectives: by the end of the period, the student should be able to create a query and a report from their database. As you remember from yesterday's assignment, you have to go into Access. You click on the More button to to open up all the different folders that have your databases in it. And you can go ahead and open your database, birthday gifts, from your folder, either from your USB drive or from your My Documents folder, and you're going to click on Open, and that will allow you to view all of the objects in your table in the navigation pane. In order to select in order to view everything that you have in your database, you need to make sure that you clear your security warning by clicking on Options, Enable this content, and selecting OK. At this point, you should only have one object in your database, and that would be your data table. Double click on Gift List and make sure that all of the changes that you made to your table yesterday are still there, that you didn't lose them somehow. If you find that's the case, then go ahead and close your data table. If you find you need to make changes, go ahead and make those changes and then save your table. If you don't remember to save your table, don't worry. Access will prompt you when you click on Create, go to Other, and select Query Wizard. At this point, you have 4 different wizards you can choose from in Access for the Query Wizard. Now, the other 3 query wizards, are a little more advanced than what we want to deal with right now. So just stick with the simple query wizard and select OK. At this point, you have all of your available fields on available fields for your table, which is called Gift List. You can either move them from available fields over to selected fields by clicking the right pointing arrow one at a time to move them over one at a time, or to select them all, you click the double-headed arrow pointing right to select all of your fields. If you find you don't really want all of your fields, you can always use your arrow pointing to the left to move your fields over one at a time, or just like before, click the double-headed arrow to move them all over at one time. We want all of our fields, so we're going to hit the double-headed arrow, move all of our fields to the right, and select Next. Now we want to show the detail for every field, so we're going to leave that as it is and select Next. And then we're going to change our title for our query to read Friends Gifts. Just like that. And then you're going to open your query and modify the query design and select Finish. Alright, at this point you now have a lot of different controls over what you're doing with your query. Just like in Excel, if you get your cursor between your 2 columns where you get your double-headed arrow and you double click, you will be able to adjust the size of your rows or your columns. You can either do it that way and auto size them, or you can manually size them just like in Excel. At this point, most of what you're doing here is just adjusting it to make it easier for you to be able to read and see what different fields you have listed. If you want to get rid of a field, you try to get the arrow pointing down, just like this. You select the column that you want to get rid of, or the field that you want to get rid of, come up here to Query Setup and select Delete Columns. At which point you have now deleted a column. You should have deleted the ID column, because you don't need that. We don't need to see in our query what the person's ID is. We have everything we need listed right here. What we do want to do, however, since this is our friends' gifts, we want to make sure that only friends are shown in our query. So under Criteria, by Criteria, under Friends, we're going to click on Equals, because we want it to equal Yes, because these are our friends. Once you put equals Yes under Gift List to say that this Yes No field, you should only be displaying your Yes check marks, you're going to select the Run button to make the query run and show us only our friends listed in our Friends query. just like that. And if you open up your gift table, you'll see that there are 4 people, Donald, Becca, Danae, and DJ, who are not listed in Friends Gifts. At this time, we're now ready to create a report using that query. So we're going to click on Create and go to the Report Wizard. But we forgot to save our query, so we need to go ahead and save that before we start our report. Now, we want to move all fields over except relation, age, and whether or not they're a friend. Those are not important to what we're trying to do right now. We just need to know who they are, when their birthday is, what gift we're thinking we want to buy them, and what the general price of that gift is, the approximate price. We're going to click on Next. We want to group this particular report by person. Now, we could group by birthday if we wanted to get all of our May birthdays together, all of our June birthdays together, and so on and so forth. But that's not what we want to do. We want to group this by person. And then we're going to click on Next. If you wanted to, you could actually sort your records within each grouping. We don't need to do that. So we're going to click on Next there too. There are 3 different layouts that the Report Wizard offers you in Access. You can do stepped, which is what looks like this, which means you have a grouping here, and then your subgroups. You can do block, again, group, subgroups, or you can do outline, which is what we're going to do. I don't care if you select portrait or landscape for your report. I personally am going to go with portrait because we don't have a lot of information we're displaying. And then I'm going to click on Next. Now, once you get here, you have a bunch of different styles that you can choose from. And the style is just how you personalize it and make your report look pretty and nice and attractive. Makes the people want to read it who you want to see it. I'm going to select Opulent, but remember the only one that you can't choose, I don't care which one you choose, I'm personally going Opulent. The only thing you can't choose is Solstice. Once you do that, click on Next, and you are ready to name your report. Your report should be titled Gift Ideas, just like that. Now, we're not going to modify the report's design at this time. All we're going to do at this point is we just want to see what that report's going to look like when it's finished. So we're going to click on Finished to see a print preview of our report. Notice the hash marks on our report. Those hash marks under birthday means those birthdays are too wide for that field. For extra credit, you may want to go in to the form's design, the report's design, and make those birthday fields a little bit wider. You can also make your gift rows or gift fields smaller and move the price field over closer so that you're not having to strain to follow what's going on. So for extra credit, you're going to close your print preview. You're going to come down here and you're going to adjust your gift size just a little bit, which will adjust your birthday a little bit wider. And then you're going to adjust your price so that the field is a little bit smaller, just like that. And that should make it a little bit easier to read what you're looking at. So now let's go ahead and go to View and look at Print Preview again. And notice that your birthday fields are now wide enough to read. Remember that doing that last step is extra credit. You do not have to do it if you don't want to, but it does make it easier and prettier. At this point, if you want to, you can go ahead and save and close your database, and you are now done with this class's Access unit. Good luck.